When people hear the phrase water landing, they usually imagine disaster. A massive passenger jet descending toward the ocean, passengers bracing for impact, hoping for a miracle. But is it actually possible for a commercial airplane to land safely on water? And if so, what happens next? Does it float? Does it sink? Today, we're diving into the truth behind water landings, how they work, and what it takes for them to succeed. Let's get one thing straight. Commercial airplanes are not built to land on water. They are not seaplanes. They don't have hull-shaped fuselages or flotation gear designed for aquatic landings. Yet history shows us that under very specific conditions, it is possible for a large airliner to survive a water ditching. The most iconic example is U.S. Airways Flight 1549, which in 2009 lost both engines after hitting a flock of birds and safely landed on the Hudson River in New York City. Thanks to quick thinking, flawless teamwork, and a bit of luck, all 155 people on board survived. The event became known as the Miracle on the Hudson. But how is that even possible? For a successful water landing, several critical conditions need to be met. First, the aircraft must still be controllable. That means the pilots need to have basic flight controls functioning. They must be able to steer, descend steadily, and level the plane before impact. If the airplane loses total hydraulic systems or suffers uncontrollable damage, a ditching becomes almost impossible. Second, the water surface matters more than you might think. A calm lake or a smooth river gives you a chance, but rough seas or large ocean waves dramatically reduce survival odds. Ideally, pilots should aim to land parallel to the waves to avoid a violent impact that could rip the fuselage apart or flip the aircraft sideways. The goal is to reduce vertical speed as much as possible and make contact with the water in a controlled, shallow descent. So here's the big question. Why doesn't the airplane sink immediately? The answer lies in basic physics. The fuselage of a commercial aircraft is a sealed, mostly hollow tube. Effectively, it acts like a giant floating container. As long as the structure remains relatively intact and water doesn't flood in too quickly, the airplane can stay afloat for several minutes, even up to an hour in some cases. That's why emergency evacuations focus on getting passengers out as quickly as possible. Time is limited, but there is a window. Modern jets are equipped with inflatable slides that double as life rafts, and every seat has a life vest. Cabin crew are trained extensively in ditching procedures, from opening the doors and deploying slides, to organizing the evacuation and keeping passengers calm. This training is required by aviation authorities like the FAA and EASA, even though a water landing is considered an extreme emergency scenario. Now let's be clear, ditching is never the plan. No airline prepares for it as a routine option. It's only used when there is no land within reach and the aircraft is still flyable. Even then, the risks are enormous. If the plane hits the water too hard, breaks apart, or sinks quickly, survival becomes unlikely. History includes tragic examples of ditching attempts that ended in loss of life due to weather, equipment failure, or panic on board. So why did the Hudson River ditching succeed? Because the plane was intact, the pilots maintained full control, the water was relatively calm, and the landing was executed with surgical precision. Most importantly, the crew followed procedures and evacuated all passengers in under 4 minutes, before the aircraft began taking on too much water. In conclusion, yes, a commercial plane can land on water and stay afloat, but only if everything goes right. It's a race against time, skill, and nature. And while it makes for a dramatic headline, it also reminds us how much depends on highly trained professionals working under pressure. Subscribe our channel for more videos.